I genuinely do not understand chess, and I got nothing out of the opening. This is round 3 of the Sacramento Championship in Sacramento, California, and I'm playing against Sean Ramesh Lee, and this game made me look pretty bad because I did not know what I was doing, and it was very obvious. And Sean just got a completely good position, and he probably missed some opportunities to take over the game to potentially win. So I played Knight of 3. I've been playing the ready in my first game with white and this game with white. Ramesh played d5. I played g3, so Fee and Kedwin, and I castle. So typical stuff. I've been playing this a lot. He played Knight c6, and now against Knight c6, his plan is to play e5 and have complete control over the center. This is when I stake my claim in the center, saying, hey, not yet. And he goes e6 here, maintaining his center, eyeing the c5 pawn. I go c4. So now it's transposed into a Catalan. A Catalan, for anyone who doesn't know, where you start with d4 and c4, and then go Knight of 3, and then we do something like this. So if you look at what this game is like compared to what happened in the game, where it is the exact same. And so he plays bishop e7, I take on d5, and this is where already, am I doing this the wrong way? Because, I actually do not know, this is my first new move for me already, bishop e7, which is a totally normal move. And, I thought taking on c5 and then playing a3 to play b4 would be, a legit way to play. And if a5, well, now, the light squares are weak around the queen side, and I thought, okay, it's totally fine. I can probably go knight bd2, and I'm totally fine. Maybe I'll play b3 and bishop b2. I'm not really sure. But I thought this was a totally fine way to play. And he just takes on c4. So now he's maintaining a symmetrical pawn structure. If I win this pawn on c4, it's just very symmetrical pawns. I go queen c2. I mark that move as interesting. I think I probably should have taken the queen on d8, and if knight takes, go knight f d2. The reason why I'm not going knight b d2 is because of c3. Giving back the pawn, but now I have split pawns, but it's probably okay. It's probably completely fine in this position. But if I go move my other knight back to d2, now I attack c4 like this. b5 is not possible because of my monster bishop, and let's just say bishop d7, for example, knight takes, and now let's say bishop c6, for example, then I can maybe just go b4, and if takes, bishop b7, bishop b2. This is probably totally normal and fine for everybody. Symmetrical pawns should be equal for everybody. Maybe that might have been the better way for me to play. I'm not really sure. Queen c2, nothing particularly wrong with that, but here I think I make my first inaccuracy of the game. I take the pawn on c4 with the queen. I don't think the queen belongs here. Just to put it simply, I don't think the queen belongs here. This is the second game in a row, not in a row, but second game with the white pieces where I feel like my queen's just all over the place. And it really is felt here. He goes queen e7, I go b4, bishop b6, bishop b2, continuing development here. And he castles. I thought he might go rook c8, and at rook c8 I was going to play queen h4 here, and then if he castles, I was like, ooh, it looks maybe a tacky. I don't know. I'll probably just would have played knight bd2 and just continue development. And actually, I feel like my queen is pretty safe on the h4 square, so I would have been happy if he played rook c8 now, but he castled instead. Now I played knight e5, and he played rook c8 now. I was pretty shocked by this move when he first played it, because I was like, this does not seem very good. But the thing is, my queen really doesn't belong on c4, and I never found a good home for it for the entire game. So I was like, oh, bishop pair, thank you very much. But now I just play knight bd2, and it was getting really, really tricky with all the calculations. One of the things I calculated was knight d4, attacking the queen, attacking the pawn on e2, defended by the bishop. So if queen d3, knight e5. So now, if I move the queen away to b1, then like knight takes e2 is a check, and he wins a pawn, which is not very good for me. So after knight e5, I can play queen e4, attacking the knight, and then he can rotate the knight back to c6. And I was like, is this okay for me? You know, like if I go e3, then there's maybe this move f5, and then if I go back here, he can go knight e5 now, and maybe I can still go queen b1, and then there's this check, but now the knight is trapped on e2, more or less. So I think I'm fine. If knight d4 now, I think I'm fine. But then he played rook c7, and then I kind of started getting a little bit scared here because I was like, how am I continuing development here? If I play rook ac1 now, then knight d4, we could do the same exact thing before. Knight d4 here, knight e5, queen here, knight back, f5. Well, let me go. Well, if I ever try to play e3, now knight c2 is a fork. And if I go here, knight f3, this might be okay. I was trying to figure out if this was okay or not, because now f5, queen back. Now the knight guards the e5 square, which is very useful So this might be okay. The more I look at it, but I was still a little bit scared. I was very scared here because rook c1. It was very loosey-goosey. I guess this is fine. I thought I might have had to take on c7, and then the queen takes, queen e4. Now there's f5, and the queen guards the knight. And yeah, I mean, what do? I'm going to lose this pawn. I'm going to lose this pawn on e2. If queen e3, then probably just knight check, and it's game over. So after rook c7, I went queen f4, just trying to get out of the way. And I really didn't know where else to go. I could have maybe gone queen g4 here to threaten checkmate. Then knight f6. I could maybe give up the bishop and play rook c1 here, just so I could finally have control over the c file here, finish development, and maybe play knight e4 here, attacking the queen. Maybe I can play knight d6 next, and if queen d7, maybe I can try to continue and play rook fd1. Maybe this is the way for me to continue to keep the game going, but I screwed up. I play queen f4, and then now there's e5, and I play queen e4, and I thought you might play f4, which I would have been happy with, because then there's check here, and knight c4. After knight f6, my queen is kind of getting low on squares again. Maybe I can play queen d2. And my queen's finally on a more natural square. Although now looking at this right now, this still looks pretty uncomfortable. I don't know exactly where to go with my queen. My queen is always running short of squares, so I found out this was very difficult for me. So I was hoping to kind of go crazy and play, f5 and really try to take over the game, because, when there's winning chances, there's losing chances. So I thought if we tried to win the game, I might have some chances to counterattack and win. But it keeps things calm, cool, and collected. It was bishop d4, which I thought was a very, very excellent move. Actually, I'm going to make this a good move. I thought this was a good move. At least it solves the issue of his bishop, and now his knight is really good on the square. And after queen d3, he goes rook fc8, doubling up. And this is pretty uncomfortable for me. I think he really did not push, step on the metal. Like here, after e3, he could throw in this move rook c3. Vision an in-between move, and this is kind of uncomfortable for me. If I go queen e4, then there's potentially knight f6. And my queen's kind of running out of squares, and so if I go queen h4, maybe rook c2 at some point. And like I said, this doesn't feel super comfortable. In this case, I do have knight e4 though, attacking f6 twice, and the knight is pinned because the queen is undefended. So maybe this is okay. Maybe this is the way I should have played. I'm not really sure. Also, I'm getting so tired now. I have another game in about an hour, and I am tired. It feels like it's been a long day, even though it hasn't really been. So I thought like some sort of rook infiltration seemed really scary, but he didn't do that. After he just went back with the knight, which I was kind of happy to see, and then I played knight e4. So now it covers the rook coming from c3. If he goes to c2, then I can play maybe I'll play knight d6 here, and I'm going to be winning the pawn on b7, attacking the rook, attacking the pawn on b7 twice. I thought this was pretty decent. He could play rook here. Then maybe I would play queen b5 or something like that. And I thought, we have a game still. This is still. Oh wait, no, I hang the knight in this case. I hang the knight. Maybe I'd go queen here, or something like that. I could also potentially go knight f5 as well, counterattack, hitting the queen. And this looks kind of decent. This looks kind of decent. Like maybe queen d8 here. Now maybe queen d6. I'm still attacking the pawn on b7. Maybe I have some checks here. Maybe I can play rook d1. And if you play knight f6, then I can just take the pawn on e5 at a bare minimum. So this does seem pretty decent. But instead he played knight f6. And I'm always very cognizant of the endgame. Like, the fact is, his rooks are doubled up on the c file and ready to infiltrate at a moment's notice. I need to make sure the endgame isn't losing for me. Like, I can't just lazily trade pieces and hope that it's a draw or a win for me. I need to be careful. And so I was thinking about playing like queen d6 here, and then I was like, okay, well, knight takes, so now my queen's hanging, so I take his queen, he takes my queen, I take his knight, and then it was like rook c2 or rook c3. Oh wait, not rook c2, the bishop guards. But I was like, this looks kind of uncomfortable here. This looks kind of uncomfortable. Maybe this position is okay, especially because my bishop is here. But I didn't feel super comfortable with this ending. Like I definitely don't think I have any winning chances here. So I take his knight, he takes my knight, and then I play rook d1. And I remember when I played this move, I was just like, okay, I got to make sure, if I ever move this rook off the first rank, e4 is a winning tactic sometimes. E4 would hit my queen with the pawn and hit my rook on a1. So if my rook moves off of the first rank, I have to be careful of e4 tactics. So example, rook d8. Queen e2, and I was like, okay, I'm totally fine. There's no like e4 stuff that works, except I play rook d1, and so if he infiltrates, and my original plan was to go rook d2, but that loses to rook, pawn to e4. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb, dude. I'm so freaking dumb, dude. Like the queen hits the rook, and yes, his rook is hanging, but my rook is hanging with check, and this is just not good. And so I was like, oh, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. And like, yeah, for example, takes, check, blocks, takes, and like this is just clearly lost here. I just have a rook. If only this knight didn't guard the back rank, then it wouldn't work. But it does guard the back rank, so yeah, it does work. So I go queen f1, and I'm super passive, not massive, because all my heavy pieces are on the back rank. He's infiltrated. He's targeting my f2 pawn, and now he just goes b6. And I was pretty happy to see this move. I was pretty happy to see this move. I thought I had no more issues after this move, and that now it's really definitely just an equal game. With how much of a disaster this opening was, I was kind of all for it. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to lose this game anymore. And losing this game was definitely a concern for me. So I go bishop h3. I think this was a mistake. Actually, I think this was a mistake. This idea, I was just being tricky. That's the idea. Like, for example, a6 here, then I can play rook c1 in some cases, and like threaten, like let's say rook c1, and let's say like b5. Okay, that'd be a very dumb move. a6 and b5 are both dumb moves. Then I can go takes, and the idea is You cannot take with the queen because of back rank mate, and yeah, I mean it's just a very like just a little trick. Like it's nothing special. The trick is doubling his pawns. That's what happens, but it's not super noteworthy. I think I should have just played rook AC1, and so now if I take, now I'm threatening the back rank checkmate, and he's probably going to play h6 at some point, and then I can give a check and go queen b7, guarding the e4 square, attacking a7, and I think I might be doing okay here. I think I might be doing okay. He might also like block the check with queen d8, and in which case I can still probably go queen b7, but then there's a5 in some cases, and I mean this is probably still a draw, but at the very least I have more play in this position. But instead I go bishop h3, and the thing is he goes h6, and then he trades twice and goes knight g5, and suddenly there's actually some issues here. If I go bishop g2, I would, I don't hate it if he goes knight f3 check. I'll just take, and the game goes on. We have a queen and 6 pawns each middle game, and I could lose this, but I might be able to win this potentially. But I realize if I play bishop g2, he can play e4, and suddenly this is looking pretty dangerous. The queen opens up on a1. So if I try to go queen c8 check, king here, and queen b7, attacking e4 and attacking a7, he can give a check. Bishop f1 is the only move. Knight f1, knight f3 check, king g2, knight d2, and suddenly I am very much losing. This does not look very good for me. Maybe I could play queen a6 here to guard my bishop, but this is definitely not what I want. I'm not super confident in this. I don't really like this. So yeah, I'm not happy about this at all. So that's why I have a queen c8 check and queen f5 check, and I offer a draw, and he accepts. So I end round 3 with a draw. I think that could have gone a lot worse for me, to be honest, but it is what it is. If I were him, I would not have accepted the draw, because I mean, like g6. Let's just say bishop c8 here. There's check. If here, there's check, and if here, there's knight c2. I mean, there are so many ways to lose this game as white, and for practical difficulty. So I'm really shocked that he accepted my draw. I had a feeling he might accept my draw because I'm the higher rated player, but there's a lot of ways to go wrong in this endgame with the bishop, and not so many ways to go wrong with the knight, And like another way you could easily lose if bishop d3, check here, and check. I pick up the bishop. Black picks up the bishop, and so this is not so easy, this endgame. And so immediately after he accepted the draw, he was just like, oh, you're probably slightly better because of the bishop. And I was like, no, dude, black is the one that's having all the fun in this endgame. Like, white has no fun in this endgame. The person with the bishop has no fun in an endgame like this. It's only black that can win, and so I'm very lucky. I also ended the game with around 9 minutes, and he had about 42 minutes, so he had more than triple my time. So I got lucky that that he wasn't so concerned. He wasn't so concerned with trying to push his position. I mean, he's probably happy with a draw with someone 400 points higher rated than him, but it is what it is. And hopefully in round 4 with the black pieces, I can pick things back up and not lose the game or do more draws. But we'll see what happens. I kind of suck at this game, so whatever. I should be more kind to myself. I don't suck. I just messed this game up.